Hey everyone, happy Friday, and thank you for joining me tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Sahira Anaisa Al Fenice, excuse me, and this is my show, A Little Hint of Magic, airing every first and third Fridays of the month at 7 p.m. on the Magic Witchy World channel. Please tune in. So, tonight's topic is softening that spring forward. And after today's earthquake, because if y'all were in the Northeast, man, it shook the heck out of me. My first experience and hopefully my last, because literally I felt like I was gonna fall on my face, and the world was gonna collapse on me. It was very scary, but I hope that everybody's okay. So, kind of on topic, we're gonna be talking about circadian rhythms, right? What is a circadian rhythm? What does circadian rhythms affect? What can disrupt our circadian rhythm, and what happens when it's off? What routines can we establish to help us maintain homeostasis? And lastly, I'm going to do a little quick blending demo for your grounding lotion bar to soften that spring forward. So yeah, let's get to it. I'll try to answer relevant questions at the end if there's enough time. Usually there is not, because I can be a chatty patty. But I invite everyone to follow and DM me on IG for any relevant topic requests, any questions, any kind of information you want to share with me. You can all reach me at A Little Hint of Magic. And remember, that's magic with a CK at the end. Don't forget. So, getting to it. What is a circadian rhythm? So, textbook definition tells us that circadian rhythm is the 24-hour internal clock in our brain that regulates cycles of alertness and sleepiness in our bodies by responding to changes in our environment like sunlight. Circadian rhythms are not the same as biological clocks. I do want to make that clear because a lot of folks get it confused. Biological clocks help regulate the timing of bodily processes. So, circadian rhythms are a function of or an effect of a biological clock, really. So, they're not the two. The two are not the same. A circadian rhythm is a function or an effect of a biological clock, but a biological clock is not an effect of circadian rhythm. So please keep that in mind if that is important to you. Our physiology and our behavior are shaped by the Earth's rotation around its axis. So remember, we come from this earth. We are of this earth. So everything that happens on this earth, from the full moons and the tidal waves and all the stuff that's happening on global warming, don't forget about that earthquakes, for example. They all affect our bodies. They all affect us. This biological system has evolved to help humans adapt to changes in our environment and anticipate changes in radiation, temperature, and food availability. So think about it this way. Circadian rhythms help us to find food, survival, and help us to stay away from danger. Again, survival. So it is a survival mechanism. Without this circadian clock, humans would not be able to efficiently use energy and optimize the internal physiology of their bodies. So there's no efficiency. We won't be able to function. We would eventually die. Unfortunately, that is the way it goes. When our circadian rhythm is in homeostasis, that means balance, guys. Our sleep wake patterns are more efficient. When properly aligned, a circadian rhythm can promote consistent and restorative sleep. And remember, sleep is crucial for the optimal function of an organism. So, for those folks who have a problem with sleeping, join my club because I'm a huge insomniac and sleepwalker. We need to set those things straight because they will affect our health in negative ways, unfortunately. So, what does circadian rhythm affect? It affects the sleep wake cycles. We just talked about that. Light exposure during the day causes our internal clock to send signals that produce alertness to keep us awake and active. Once it gets later in the day and darkness falls, our internal clock onsets the production of melatonin. We all heard that special word, melatonin, that's supposed to put us to sleep. Well, we have it naturally internally produced in our bodies, and it's the hormone that does promote sleep. Our internal clock then keeps transmitting signals that help us stay asleep throughout the night. At least some of us, right? Not this insomniac. Circadian rhythms align sleep and wakefulness with day and night to create a stable cycle of restorative sleep that enables increased daytime activity. Now, quick commercial break, and we'll be covering it a little later. When we have our TVs and our iPhones and our laptops in the bed because we just want to read our books or do this last little bit of work before we go to sleep, that's an artificial light source that is directly affecting our circadian rhythm. So basically, our devices are telling our bodies that it is not time to sleep yet. Stay alert. That's why some of us, including myself, have a problem sleeping. Just want to make that clear. So, circadian rhythms also affect metabolism and weight. They regulate blood sugar and cholesterol. So we got to keep that circadian rhythm balanced if we want to stay healthy, if we want to stay active. Mental health is also affected, right? And when our circadian rhythm is off and our mental health is affected, there could be a risk for psychiatric illnesses like depression, not seasonal depression. I'm talking about real full blown depression, right? Bipolar disorder, as well as a potential for neurodegenerative diseases like dementia. So it affects even our mental health. So when you sleep and you feel like you're going nuts because you can't sleep, there's some truth to that. Keep that in mind. And it also affects our immune system, right? As well as because our immune system, processes DNA, the processes of DNA that are involved in preventing cancer. So that's where our immune system is affected. It's in those processes, right, of DNA repair. Early stage research indicates that circadian cycles can influence the effectiveness of anti-cancer drugs and that new medications can be used more strategically. So again, not only is a balanced circadian rhythm good for the immune system in terms of, preventing cancer, but it can also, if we are affected with cancer, and it can help the drugs to work better. So keep that in mind. What happens when our circadian rhythm is off track? Yikes, right? Our body systems do not function optimally when our circadian rhythms are off track. Without the proper signaling from the body's internal clock, a person can have difficulty falling asleep, or they wake up more often throughout the night, or they're unable to sleep as long as they want to until the morning. So again, sleep is completely disaffected, right? I mean, completely affected, excuse me. Total sleep can be reduced, and a disrupted circadian rhythm can also mean shallower, fragmented, and lower quality sleep. So, misaligned circadian rhythms can create significant sleep problems. We all know this, like insomnia. I was just talking about it. Crazy, right? Research shows that circadian rhythms play an integral part in diverse aspects of physical and mental health, right? Keep that in mind. Our circadian rhythm keeps us balanced, it keeps us at our optimal level. Lack of proper patterns can have significant impacts on essential day to day functions, right? Our memories, physical healing, metabolic regulation occur during the sleep cycle. So when we don't sleep, guess what happens? That's why sometimes we can't remember things as easily as we used to when we were younger, right? Or we don't heal as well, or our metabolic functions don't regulate as well, right? I can't seem to lose those 15 pounds as easily as I was able to before. And I'm still as active, or so I think I am, right? The sleep wake cycle also influences eating habits, digestion, body temperature, hormone release, and other crucial body functions. Detrimental effects on sleep can result in many disorders, including diabetes, obesity, depression, bipolar disorder, seasonal affective disorder, and many other sleep disorders. So we have to keep that little circadian rhythm balanced by any means necessary. It'll make our lives easier. So, what can disrupt our circadian rhythm? Disruptions can be short term or long term. Some are behaviorally driven, like work, like when we travel for work, or like when we have a shift change, something to that effect, which makes the sleep wake schedules inconsistent with normal daylight hours, right? So if we're used to, new EST, and we go back to PST to California, we're going to be thrown off just slightly, even with those 3 hour differences. Um, Other disorders stem from an underlying issue that causes an inability to receive or process environmental cues that regulate the body's biological clock. So, again, disruptions to the circadian rhythm can definitely affect us in such heavy ways. Be mindful. Some examples are jet lag, right? And we talked about jet lag, right? And the time differences, right? Shift work disorder. So it requires someone, working a night shift. So they sleep in the daytime and work at night. That definitely affects us. Advanced sleep phase disorder. People with this rare type of disruption find that they get tired early in the evening and wake up very early in the morning. Delayed sleep phase syndrome. So circadian rhythm disruption is associated with staying up late at night and sleeping in late in the morning. The exact cause is unknown and may be related to genetics or underlying physical conditions or even a person's behavior, like using that technology in the bedroom, right? Um, Non 24-hour sleep wake disorder. It occurs primarily in people who are blind and are not able to receive light based cues for their circadian rhythm. So, this is a physical issue. If you can't receive those light environmental issues, then that might affect your sleep cycles as well. Irregular sleep wake rhythm disorder. It's a rare disorder where those affected have no consistent pattern to their sleep and may have many naps or short sleeping periods throughout a 24-hour day. It's frequently connected to conditions that affect the brain, like dementia or traumatic brain injury. Again, we have to keep in mind, right? There are things that are physical that we're traumatized by physically that, you know, there we may have band-aids, but we don't have a resolution. But the things that we can cause, that we can affect, that we can change, let's do that, please. Okay. What routines can we establish to help maintain homeostasis? So be a sun worshiper, right? Exposure to natural light, especially early in the day, reinforces the strongest circadian cues. Establish a consistent sleep schedule, daily exercise, right? Avoid caffeine, right? Or at least lower the stimulants that you use during the day because they actually tend to throw off your sleep and your sleep and wakeful cycles, right? Limit light exposure before bed. Make sure that when you're shutting down to go to sleep, that you're really shutting down. That means no tech, no TVs, nothing lighting up your bedroom because that will affect you, right? No phones, no tablets, none of that stuff either, please. Short naps and early in the afternoon, right? So if you take a short nap, make sure it's early in the afternoon because late and long naps can push back your bedtime and throw off your sleep schedule. And make your bedroom sleep ready. We kind of talked about this. Do things that influence positive sleep habits so you can intensify the quality of your sleep at night. Those steps can help support a healthy circadian rhythm, but if you have persistent or severe sleeping problems, daytime drowsiness, or problematic sleep schedules, please, please, please consult with a proper medical professional for treatment. I am not a medical professional. Please consult if you're having these issues and they are very deep and they're affecting you. So let's get quickly down to our blending demo. Your grounding lotion bar to soften that spring forward. Reminding you again that scents are powerful. They are a powerful way to shift mindsets and get our circadian rhythm back on track. So here's a little recipe I came up with that I hope will help you achieve homeostasis, right? The ingredients. If you didn't check out my IG to see what those ingredients were, let me just share them with you. So a silicone mold tray for your lotion bars. So I have this heart mold tray that I love, and I use it for soaps. I use it for lotion bars. It's really cute. Each mold is about 3.5 ounces total. It's about 21 ounces. I'm only going to do one for today because I'm purely demonstrating. A large Pyrex measuring cup. Try to get a capacity of at least 24 ounces so that you're not overflowing when you're melting down your carriers. Medium pot to heat up water for a double boiler. A glass stir rod. You know how much I love a glass stir rod because you can definitely stir your mixture. 21 ounces of carriers. So my ingredient list, I gave you a few extra items on there. What I'm using today is going to be beeswax, cocoa butter, coconut oil, and jojoba. So for For this mold, I'm going to use not the 21 ounces of carrier oils, but I'm going to use 3.5 ounces of carrier, excuse me, not carrier oils, but carriers, because we have beeswax in there, jojoba wax, as well as cocoa butter, which are not oils. So you melt them down. I pre-melted because, of course, we don't have time. So, you know, what's beautiful is that cocoa butter gives it a nice chocolatey scent, as well as a cute little brown color. Let me move my tray here just so that you can see it as well. Hopefully y'all can see it. I actually have a teacup warmer here that I'm using to keep my oils and my carriers melted. Dry herbs. So I have rosebud and lavender in here. Essential oils. So for the whole mold, right, you need about 10 mLs. I'm going to use about 1 ml because I'm only doing one. So a little, you know, like about 1 ml, a little bit over. And you can use any combination of the suggested oils as long as the total amount of drops equals either 10 ml or 200 drops. It's the equivalent of 10 ml. So we're going to use frankincense carteri, right? And this uplifts the spirit. So I'm going to use 8 drops of this. So I'm going to drop as we talk because time is of the essence, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 drops of frankincense. I'm going to try to move my thing here so that you can see what I'm doing. Next is lavender oil. It promotes relaxation and calms stress. So there are 6 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 drops. Then we have patchouli oil. And patchouli is intensely relaxing and grounding, right? And it's going to be super helpful to kind of get you back into your rhythm. So I'm going to do 8 drops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those drops come out a little slowly because this is, it's resinous, right? And even though it's a wood, it's still kind of resinous. The next one we're gonna have is the rose oil, and it can soothe the troubled spirit. Rose can help you stay grounded in forgiveness, security, and self-love in the face of stress. I love rose oil. So I'm going to do 10 drops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And then lastly, we're going to do sandalwood. Sandalwood tends to be a little slow because it is such a thick oil. So I think what I'm going to do is, what I tend to do a lot of times is I pop the tops on these jammies, right? And I just use my dropper. So if y'all will just bear with me as I get my dropper, and I'm going to do 8 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Let's not waste the oil, guys. Let's not waste the oil. So then putting my orifice reducer back in, and then I'm going to mix, right? So I'm mixing it, I'm blending it, and it's smelling delicious with the addition of those oils. Like the chocolate scent it's delicious. The chocolate and the oils mixed together. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to lower this a little bit so y'all can see. I'm mixing my rosebud and my lavender. So I am just going to put some of it right here. I lay it down before I lay down my blend. And put a little bit more in there. Beautiful. And then all I'm going to do is pour. I'm going to slowly pour, 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 pour. And sometimes it delivers more than what we're expecting it to. So I'm just going to do a little bit more. That's why I have a little extra herb here, because I knew it was going to be a little bit more than the 3.5 ounces, but it's not going to be enough for an entire lotion bar. Boom. So y'all can see how it looks. And one thing that I suggest is please don't move it. Please let it set before you move it. Please try to put it on in an area where you're not going to touch it for like 24 to 48 hours just to let the mold set. And then once it's hardened, you can pop it out and you can use your grounding lotion bar whenever you feel like having some extra support in maintaining homeostasis, right? I just wanted to show you an example. This is one that I created earlier. Hopefully y'all can see it. Let me bend this down a little bit so you can see the herbs in here. It's slightly green because I use hemp oil for this one in particular. I keep it in a paper bag or in one of those small zippies because it does get oily and you don't want that messing up any of your items if you throw it in your bag. So just keep that in mind. And this soap, excuse me, this lotion bar, not only is it great for maintaining homeostasis and calming us down, it also serves as a great moisturizer for dry skin. I use it on my feet and my hands every night before I go to bed. So keep that in mind also. So, as we come to the end of our time together this week, I want to make sure that you can connect with me to ask questions, share any info, or even suggest future topics. Your input is super necessary, and I'm always asking for y'all to, send me your topic requests because I definitely want to be developing and continuing to provide content that y'all are interested in. So please do that for me. I want to hear from all of you. Please follow and DM me on IG at A Little Hint of Magic. Remember, that's magic with a CK at the end. Don't forget. Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone April 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful weekend, and blessed be. Thank you.